Hey everyone, welcome to 5 More Minutes, the show where two friends relive their childhoods, or in some cases, learn about everything they missed out on while suffering from allergies.
Mm.
I'm Kendra.
And I'm Scott,
Yeah.
also suffering from allergies.
Um, I have two things before shoe corner. I
Oh,
know
okay.
I'm just jumping in. I don't want to forget. The
Hmm.
first one is that apparently when my JV team had their team dinner last week before our games, they listened to an episode of the podcast and counted how many times I said the word bitch.
Hmm.
And they say that I said it like 25 times in the first 10 minutes, but I really don't believe them because that seems extra excessive.
Yeah, that doesn't seem quite right.
Yeah, so I don't really believe them. Um, and then the second one is that I had my student write down some things from the podcast that he went to.
Oh.
Some like standout moments. And
Hmm.
I wasn't gonna read them out loud until this, but I was reading it while I was um walking up. But he wrote them actually, this is some of his most legible handwriting.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe
Impressive.
because he knew I had to read it out loud.
Yeah.
So he for the number one thing he wrote is Bobby Lee showed his butthole to the audience.
I heard that on the recent podcast too.
Bobby Lee did a traditional monk kiss, stuck his tongue out, and had guys and girls suck it.
Oh, the Dalai Lama.
Sure. Bobby Lee threatened to beat my ass because I called him short. Andrew Santino called me a quote motherfucker. Bobby Lee was grabbing my love handles. Andrew Santino had very hairy arms.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah, he did say something in class about how some of this was happening, and then he told them that he was a minor, and they kind of freaked out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he's a sophomore, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
What one did he go to? Was it the last night's one?
Yeah.
Nice.
Because he left school after first hour, and his sister rented a U-Haul because she's only 20. It was like a U-Haul pickup, though. I was thinking like box truck, but it was just a pickup.
Yeah, that makes
And
more
I
sense.
told him he should make a vlog, so hopefully he did. I guess he recorded stuff, but I haven't seen anything.
Nice.
Yeah. So he said he got back to Pasco at 4 a.m.
Sweet.
And then
Good
he
hour
like
of sleep.
left during second hour because he didn't feel good.
Strange.
Yeah, weird how that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, second note card. They sung their popular song "Daddy, I Love You."
That was Daddy Why You Die.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they
Get your
have two.
facts straight, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna question you about that tomorrow, Nate. And when you listen to this, that's already in the past.
Yep.
They made fun of Asian guy in crowd.
Sounds about right.
He signed a waiver to be part of the show, but wasn't picked. How
Oh,
dare.
okay.
He had a very awkward handshake with Andrew. Parentheses. His hands are very soft.
Okay.
And last thing, on the dating show, when asked what would they do if they found a dingleberry in Bob's butthole, the contestants all said they would flick it.
There you go. It's another podcast callback too.
Okay, well, I think I've watched like half of an episode at your house before, so
Yeah.
I at least was like, I think I know what you're talking about.
I
And then
know
I
of
was
that.
like, show me the picture, and then I was gonna send a picture to you.
Oh
To
yeah.
the what?
I'm definitely jealous because I really wanted to go, but then it was originally like on a Friday, and then when they rescheduled, they're like, "Oh, it's a Wednesday now." And it's like because I was gonna take Cheyenne, and then we had a couple of other people like Jackie and someone else in Seattle.
Oh, is that when you went that one time?
Well, that was the
Or is that
originally
a
why we were
different?
gonna
Yeah,
go.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but then it got rescheduled. So
Mm.
yeah, so I
Mm,
basically ate that too. No one bought my tickets.
dang.
Yeah, so maybe someday I'll get to see him.
I keep wanting to see all these people and then missing out on the tickets. Like I really wanted to see this gay comedian Ashley Gavin, and I signed up for the text alerts, but they were either worded weird or I didn't get them for that show because I get the text alerts regularly.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time I remembered, it had like already been a week since the tickets went on sale, and there were no seats next to each other.
Yeah,
So that was really annoying. And I really want to see Matt Rife because he's funny.
I've seen quite a few clips of him.
Yeah. And then there's this other guy that I follow who's a comedian and he owns like a comedy club in Seattle. And apparently he was at Joker's like last weekend. And I'm like, why do I never read the captions on the videos? Because I literally live, like
Yeah, you could
5-10
like
minute
walk
walk. Yeah. So that was pretty annoying. Well, I can hear my allergies in my headset, and I dislike that for future Kendra who has to edit this.
Oh, true. The little sniffles.
No, well, yeah, but also just my voice
Mm,
sounds weird.
the rasp.
Yeah. And this weekend, I am repainting my truck and then driving my mom's truck so that I can wait to sand it because we're not messing up this time. We're done spending money on this. It was supposed to cost $100 and it's been like $700.
Right. It's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Randomly, so today, I obviously have a lot of shoes for sale on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a message.
As one does.
As one does. And I got a message from a user on a pair of them.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what it says. Hey, Michaela, I really like the party we went to last week, girl. Let's hang out soon. We need another girls' night out, boo. And I typed, you got the wrong place, brah. Because one, this is eBay. Two, you're direct messaging on an item that is for sale. And three, I'm not Michaela. So
that's really odd because that's either like really weird trolling and someone is just really pleased with themselves for that, or they literally were so drunk that they like thought eBay was like Snapchat.
Yeah, I don't even know how one does that because there's not like a bunch of errors in the typing either. It's actually pretty well typed.
Yeah, that's weird.
So that was my fun for today.
Nice. Someone bought one of my headlights for $30.
Hey, someone bought a pair of my shoes and then eBay rejected them again. So I'm having a great time.
Are they used ones again or ones that you bought from sneakers?
From the auction, but they said, and I put in the goddamn eBay description that the sole had some discoloration on it because it was stored with the receipt in the box and the soles are bright green. So it rubbed against the receipt and it's like a black residue. And so it's on like the very side of it. And they said, markings on the shoe does match description. And now they're sending it back.
Can you just like contest that since it says it in the description?
Nope. I can't. They take all the power away from you. So what I'm going to have to do when I get it back, take very specific pictures of like zoomed in on just that and then like write in all caps in the description, look at the pictures, you dumb fucks, or something weird like
that. I'm still wondering, those shoes I bought that didn't pass.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if, because I can't imagine there's like reps of that. I just don't know who would want them. So I wonder if it was like the description, like they were a little bit more used or something than the description.
Because I've had multiple sent back now and shoes I know are authentic. And same thing though, like these are technically new, unworn shoes from 2013. But if they have just like a baby little flaw on them, they're like, this isn't new. And I was like, look at this sole. Like no one's touched this to the ground.
Yeah. I mean, even those Jordan, the Alma ones that I got, like she had them listed as like used, but like they didn't look like they'd been worn.
Yeah. So probably just to cover bases.
Yeah. Or like, I guess you can consider them used if they're tried on too, but
yeah.
I don't know.
And I'm angry because I bought that pair I only got for like $80 and they sold for like $260. So it was like amazing profit. And then they're like, nah, here they are back. God damn it.
I really hope that I can at least get my money back for those one dunks.
Oh.
The sucky thing about both those places is that they take like a whole freaking week before they even ship your order.
Yeah, that's true. Some of I bought a pair last weekend and they were already here on like Tuesday from Nike. I was like, why are they here so fast?
For the Nike ones, it seems to depend. Like when I had the early access on the 4s, they came really fast. Or I mean, when I got them on the shock drop or whatever, both those and then the green ones that I had exclusive access to, those came like so much faster than like any of the other ones. So maybe just because it's like if it's like a smaller order or something.
Yeah. Special batch. Nice.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
My skylines and my fives are supposed to come tomorrow.
Nice. I posted a whole bunch more for sale this weekend, like all those ones I showed you that were like in limbo. I posted those all for sale, but I need a few of these pairs to move and not get rejected by eBay.
Bunch of bitches.
Yeah, seriously.
So. I should add a little bitch counter. That I wish that wouldn't take so long to add in, but just like every time I said bitch, it just like popped up like a score on a baseball game.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Get one of your students to do it to prove it to you.
Yeah, because well, they're not probably listening, but because they're softball players. But I really don't think that I said it 25 times.
I mean, I don't doubt 25 times over like an episode, but 10 minutes seems like
and you know they didn't listen to the whole thing because they were at team dinner. So
yeah.
Have you seen my tan line?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very aggressive. It looks worse in person, but
yeah, mine was pretty bad after summer ball that year. I had to like every game I would like switch arm I was wearing it on, try to help, but it just
I have a farmer's tan.
Oh yeah. I had like a face down tan from like my sunglass line.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah. It do.
Yeah, I think that's most of the stuff. It's Teacher Appreciation Week.
Right.
And since I teach advanced classes and stuff, I have a lot of Mormon students. And they do like this. Like last year I got like a top 10 teacher appreciation thing from the seminary kids with like a little note. But I guess they like vote or something for their favorite teachers. And a lot of the ones I don't have were on the softball team. And apparently I got like 18 out of 20 votes for like favorite teacher from the seminary kids.
Nice.
Yeah. So they a lot of them made me cards. I hung them all up. And then I got like a big like Lind whatever chocolate bar. Oh. And I've eaten like 1/3 of it already. And it's chill. It's just like so good. It's like because it's like the good chocolate, and it's like really creamy. And it's just delectable.
Delectable. It's that good chocolate. Nice. Pretty cool. Yeah, not much else for us. We had we did the ATV weekend. I think we talked about that in the last episode.
No, I think you did that.
That must have been right after.
You said that you were going to do it, or at least you told me. I don't remember if it was in the episode or not.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. We got freaking filthy. We were like one of the only ones that weren't in like a side-by-side. So it was just dust in your face all day. And you like get out and like shake out your shirt and it was just like falling off. But it was pretty fun. Just pretty cool. First time I've been in a very long time. Got to see some cool sights. Still snow on the ground in some of those areas up there. So
yeah. My dad bought a side-by-side.
Ooh,
because he's old now. I guess he doesn't want to ride the 4-wheeler anymore.
Well, there's something to be said about having like a wheel and pedals. I don't really like the freaking thumb throttle,
Yeah, really it does get a little tiring after a while too when you're not used to doing it.
Mm-hmm. Then like the hand brakes, you gotta get the big claw out, and I like having a steering wheel personally, but that's just me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I feel a sneeze. I'm try to hold it off though.
It's on the way.
Yeah, so I finally finished watching The Last of Us. And I did because all my students were like, "Oh, it's so sad," and then I finished it, and I was like, "That's not even sad." And so I feel like that's like how I was putting it off because I didn't want it to be sad or like make me angry or something. And then it didn't, and I was like, "Well, this is stupid. Why am I listening to 15-year-olds?"
That'll cheat you.
Yeah.
So, what'd you think overall?
Well, are we talking about it overall, or are we doing any sort of like?
Well, we can step through the episodes first, but I guess if you had any like first impressions, because you said it wasn't sad, it wasn't. Did you have any feelings at the end?
I mean, I think I was a little annoyed, but I didn't know in what way I was annoyed, or like who or what made me annoyed, or like I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, because like it was a little anticlimactic. Anticlimactic.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You'll have to. I mean, it's been. I don't even know how long since I've watched them now, so you'll have to help me through the like episodes a bit. Yeah, it's been a while, but I think where we left off, Joel had been stabbed off his horse or something.
Yeah, by the raiders in Colorado.
It was like the university.
Yeah, Boulder probably.
Yeah. So that's where we left, and Ellie was
Mhm.
trying to get him.
And I
out
had
of there.
watched half of episode 7 before I stopped and was like, I need to wait until right before we record so that I don't forget. So I think I watched the first half of episode 7 like a month ago.
Nice.
Like it has been a while. But most of the episode was a flashback, and I had paused it in the flashback because it pretty much, I think the episode starts with her just like dragging Joel into like an abandoned building, and you can tell he's not doing good. There's like blood and
he looks to have an infection.
yeah. But then it goes to the flashback where she's at her, I don't know what it is, school.
It was a Fedra school.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And she got in trouble for like getting in a fight or something. She got a little bit of a tude.
She's got a little bit of an attitude. And she was like missing her friend that apparently had been gone for a while. And so she stood up for herself and slugged
a
hoe.
Yeah, she slugged a hoe. And this is probably just like a couple months before we're introduced to her in the beginning. So it's not like a super, I mean, I don't really know the span of time in this because it jumps a lot.
Yeah.
Like we don't see most of their travel from Kansas City to Wyoming. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how long that took.
Right.
But this is obviously just a few months before, or weeks even before she meets Marlene.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically she's sleeping and then her friend who was her roommate and is like missing, like breaks into the window or something, right? Like, or wakes her up.
Yeah, pretty much sneaks back into the dorm and be like, "What's up? Here I am."
And sneaks her out and takes her to the mall.
Yeah, because they have an abandoned mall, but apparently they were warned that there was a whole bunch of infected in it or whatever, which didn't seem to be the case when, you know, she turned on all the electricity and everything was just fine. So they had like a regular field day playing games and shopping, I guess.
Yeah, they were really excited about playing Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh, yeah. Good old Mortal Kombat.
Mm-hmm.
Finish him.
Yeah, so they're having like a little cute time. You can kind of tell they like each other.
They got little flirting going on.
Yeah, and like
whatever.
Looks.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's all about the look.
The forlorn.
Yeah.
Puppy dog
they're
eyes.
Like, oh, I want to kiss you, but I don't know if that's okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So in this flashback, they do lots of stuff like a carousel and arcade games. And it does kind of allude to the fact that something's going to happen because in the creepy Halloween store, why was it necessary to have dolls in glass cages, first of all? Because nothing reminds me more of like both The Conjuring and Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum than a good old doll in a case, which we gotta go to Vegas.
Burgers.
And we gotta wait in line all day to go to the freaking Pawn Star shop. And then we gotta go to Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum.
There you go. Got and a whole itinerary.
Maybe strippers too. I don't know.
Who knows? We'll see if we're feeling good, you know?
Yeah, I was actually like looking up Vegas trips the other day.
She's got the itch.
Yeah, I mean, for 10 years. And all I've ever done is pee in a gas station off the highway.
Okay. I didn't quite know where you were going when you said, oh, it was pee. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. So anyways, while they're having all these moments, you see like an infected who's like in the Halloween store kind of like wake up and become alert to them playing the arcade games because they're, you know, slamming coins in and pushing buttons and yelling. I'm like, bruh, you're in the middle of like a zombie apocalyptic wasteland. You probably shouldn't be that loud if you're going to play the arcade games.
What? That's ridiculous. They hadn't a care in the world.
Yeah. But anyway, so then they go back to this like kitchen-y or janitor type area where Melina, is that her name, has been staying. And she's like,
I don't know, Riley. What?
Oh. Is Melina the name of the actress? Because I feel like I just saw the name Melina. Whose name is Melina?
I have no idea.
It says, oh, Melina is the character that they're playing in Mortal Kombat.
Oh.
Okay, so yeah, Riley. We learned that this is where she got the pun book from.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, Ellie gets kind of upset and wants to leave or something. She doesn't want to get in trouble, and then Riley's like, "Oh, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Blah blah blah. I'm leaving. You should come with me." And then you find out that she's working with Marlene, who we know is the one who gave Ellie to Joel. I say
Yep.
that as if she's merchandise, but she kind of is.
The Fireflies.
Yeah, the Fireflies. And then she kind of like storms off at some point. And right as she's like about to leave the mall, she has this like moment where she's like, I gotta go back, you know?
Yep.
And she's looking like she hears like screaming and she thinks it's Riley, but it's just one of those like yard things that's like a grave. And it's like, hey! Hey! That's
Yep.
probably cutting out in the audio because it does not pick up my high pitched voices.
Nice.
And then they're sitting down and then they put on some masks and they do like a coyote ugly dance on the bar top.
Yeah. Getting wild with it, I guess.
Yeah, and then like one of them has a clown on and one of them has a wolf on, and Ellie kind of slowly takes the wolf off and then she's just like staring at her with the clown on. It's kind of creepy. And then she takes her clown off and then the kiss. It's like a whole weird gay Halloween thing.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then rawr, bitch.
Uh-oh.
An infected is awoken. Well, he was already awoken. They just take like 5 years to unstick from the ground, I think.
Yeah, he was a little gooey.
And they're fighting him in the Halloween store. And both of them get bitten.
Yeah, I don't know how you both get bitten in a, but they did.
Yeah. So then they kind of have a thing where they're like, "Oh, we're gonna sit here until we both go crazy, and then we'll kill each other or something like that."
Yeah.
And then that's kind of where the flashback ends. You don't really know what happens. It just kind of ends with them leaning against the counter with the gun.
Yeah. And you kind of know what has to happen, unfortunately.
Obviously we know that Ellie somehow gets back to Marlene and is being tested over and over again with like the count. It's almost like a drunk test, actually.
It is, yeah.
And yeah, and we assume that we know Ellie's basically immune, so whatever.
Yeah.
And is that where the first or episode 7 ends?
I think so. You must have a much better synopsis than I do, but it says flashback to the present. Ellie finds a sewing needle and begins stitching Joel's wound, and that's where it ends.
Oh yeah,
trying to patch him up.
Oh
my God, Velvet, stop it! Freaking cat. So yeah, that's whatever episode number was that. 7?
That was 7.
Aha.
And then episode 8 basically starts right after she stitches him up, I think. But he's not looking so hot. Like,
he's looking bad.
He's not really there. I guess it starts with the Jesus stuff.
The Jesus stuff.
So and you can tell this guy has big creepy pastor vibes like right from the beginning. Like, I was not surprised with what happened in the episode. They did a really good job of portraying him as a creepy pastor guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Good acting.
But there's a big banner that says, "When we are in need, he shall provide." And he's reading Revelation 21, which speaks of a new heaven and a new earth, since the first ones had passed away. So this man is manipulating the Bible to fit the
apocalypse
stuff. Yeah, the apocalypse.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of weird, creepy stuff going on with these guys. Like, oh boy.
Oh boy.
Like, I know I'm jumping ahead, but the ear on the floor. Yikes.
You see some gore coming up, and
his creepy, weird vibe kind of reminded me of what was that show with the angel and the island?
The Angel and the Island.
Yeah, and like the guy's a vampire, and then the hot guy becomes a vampire. The hot guy from Matt from Friday Night Lights.
What was that called?
Man, that was such a good show
Was it
too.
like dark? It was like dark or black something.
Sure, Netflix show with Friday Night Lights guy.
Elite searching.
No, not that guy.
Oh my god, Velvet, shut up.
I'm gonna find it.
Oh, Midnight Mass.
Yeah.
There it is.
That show was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's reading the Bible to this like group in some sort of restaurant that they all use as their meeting place. And there's like a girl crying, and he's just like, doing his biblical God will wipe away blah 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 stuff, and she's
people
like,
have died lately.
Yeah. And they can't marry the guy who's dead yet because it's too cold outside, because they're in what I'm assuming is northern Utah-ish.
Yeah, somewhere where it's cold in winter.
Yeah, and it's very snowy. Yeah, and then they have a chat and they're like, oh, we need to go hunting because we don't have very much animal meat left.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's like, I haven't lost faith, blah blah blah, I'm just scared. And yeah,
so what the preacher is David, and he has some lackey named James, and they decide to go out hunting for food.
Yeah, and so then it cuts us back to Ellie, and Joel's not doing good. She decides to take his rifle and go hunting. Because he taught her how to shoot and stuff.
Yeah.
She sees a rabbit, but then she face plants. And then she sees a deer, and she hits the deer, but it doesn't just like drop dead. It takes off as deer do.
Yeah,
unless
they do.
You get him in the good bits.
Right.
But when she finds the deer, she finds David and James standing over the deer, but she uses her mean person voice because she's been hanging out with Joel, and she knows how to be a tough bitch.
Yep.
And she wants to trade half of the deer for medicine. But he is really trying to like get her to go back with them. He's like, oh, we're from a group of mostly women and children. We will protect you because God,
we have a little community.
Yeah.
And Jesus wants you.
And so he tells James to go get the medicine. And then he lures Ellie into a building to start a fire and stay warm. And they're having a conversation. And then basically he alludes, or he tells her that he knows that they killed his friend or whatever, his community member.
Because they were the ones doing the raid.
The raid, yeah. And so they killed Alec or some shit like that.
Some piece of garbage.
And then James comes in with his gun drawn, and David tells him to put it down and give her the medicine. She runs away. Obviously, this guy has cult vibes, and we know that that's just not going to happen. But for right now, they're like, deer meat, bitches. Let's go.
Yep. We're good. So she is able to get the medicine and leave.
Yeah. Oh, something I thought was funny was that he was like, I didn't find God until after. I used to be a teacher. And she was like, oh, did you go from teacher to preacher because it rhymes?
Like, oh, good burn.
I thought that was funny.
Got him.
Yeah. But yeah. So it's kind of like a cult in a what we later learn is a resort city, so probably fairly secluded from places where people would have been traveling frequently, I guess, in the midst of this. I don't really know.
Yeah. And they kind of mess around because they bring the deer back, but then they end up following her.
Yeah, they wait until the next morning because it's snowing. Obviously, you can follow her, and there's only going to be so many places in that area, which she probably doesn't know that, but they do.
Right.
But she so the next morning, she she gives Joel a penicillin shot and doesn't really know what to do, so just sticks it in the middle of his wound.
Stab it in.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But she she goes and she sees him coming. Well, because she sees birds flying up out of the trees. She's very smart.
She is, yeah.
So she goes back and she gets the horse to try to lead them away because she's not really like a 14-year-old can't like pick up a 45-year-old man and put him on a horse.
Right.
Actually, I think the thing that angered me the most was that the horse died.
Yeah, so as she was trying to get away, I think David shot her horse, right?
Yeah, and he was gonna kill her, and the other guy was like, "Do it," and then David fires his gun up into the air because he was very keen on her being alive.
For some reason.
Yeah, which I'm not quite sure what his original plan was, or if it was the other thing, and he was just gonna torment her first. I don't really know.
Yeah,
but basically, they want to kill Joel because he killed Alec or whatever.
Yeah. Even though he still got stabbed over it. So it's like, come on,
yeah.
Dude, get over it.
Yeah. And like, yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're a raider, you're going to be risking your life, bitch.
Yeah. You might get stabbed. It's part of the job.
And you might not. But you know what? There's always that chance that you might.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Yeah.
Put that on your bitch face and slap it.
And slap it. Okay.
I don't know. I've literally never said that before. That was something new.
Something new, yeah.
Yeah, so anyways, the horse gets shot. She flings off frontwards and probably gets a concussion because she didn't look like she was doing great.
No.
And then he puts her in a cell. The rest of the guys are going house to house because they're like, oh, well, he's got to be in one of these houses. Mm-hmm. But she left Joel with a knife and was like, whatever, defend yourself.
Try to do something.
And so he could hear them, obviously, because he's downstairs. He's got some inner strength, man. Like
he had that father rage.
Yeah. Because he had like a couple of them. He was like punching him. He tied him up, stabbed him in his leg, told him to point to where it was. Yeah. At some resort called Silver Lake.
Did some classic torture techniques, and then pretty brutal though. You can see he doesn't really give any shits at this time.
Silver Lake, I'm pretty sure I've seen signs for that when I've been on my trips. But Silver Lake is it's a ski resort in Utah. So nice. It is a real location, and it is on the map, bitches.
Hey. Yeah. Oh my God, Velvet, shut up.
Yeah, she's being a loud bitch.
Can you hear her?
This is why. Well, my dog is also loud, so I guess. Yeah.
What was next? So I think it kind of goes back to the place where she's being held.
Yeah, she's David's in like a prison cell, basically.
Yeah, David's like messing with her, talking to her,
still trying to doing that her. Like cult leader thing where he's like being all like nice tone of voice and like say preachy things and get you to follow me to the end of the earth.
You feel very safe now, don't you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then I think this is when she sees the ear on the ground, right?
Yeah, she sees an ear on the ground. And so she doesn't want to eat her food. She freaks out. She throws the food.
Yeah.
And then they bust in there and they're trying to like hold her down and put her on a table and kill her, basically. Kind of escalated really quickly.
It did. Well, and the implication to that
she called him a sick fuck.
Yeah, because not only did she see the human ear on the ground, but it was over like a giant butcher's block.
Mm-hmm. I think there was some sort of like prison combined with a morgue. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, it was something. But the implication is that he is feeding people to his people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why she's like, you sick fuck, I'm not gonna eat it, because she's like, freaking out. Now that she knows what they're doing, this is when the tide kind of turns and he wants to kill her, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And he says a lot of weird stuff to some of this I don't really remember because he's talking about the cordyceps and saying how they multiply and protect their children. So he's even relating that to biblical things.
Yeah, he's kind of, he's tying everything into like, this is all the plan. This is what's supposed to happen, and blah, 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 blah.
She bit him at some point and then shows him her scar and it's like, oh, I'm infected. Like,
that was a pretty smart move.
Yeah.
That one was
good. And then she like stabs James or whatever. I don't know. She kind of breaks free and tries to run. She throws a torch. I don't know how she lit that on fire. and basically he tries to okay, back up, reel it in.
Yep.
Even after she saw the ear, he tried to twist that too. He was like, we do what we have to do, only a few people know. And I couldn't get the vibe of that like short-haired lady. I could not get her vibe.
Yeah, I don't really.
She was
really
kind
understand.
of like the creepy sidekick who probably knew stuff, but like also didn't. I don't know.
Yeah, she knew just enough.
But yeah, so then they're having like a fight, and she like really stabs him or something. Like she goes hard, but I guess wasn't. When do
what? Because she kills James in that room with the knife. So then David's after her in the rest of the whatever mess hall. I don't know what you call it. Like a place.
Apparently, it's the steakhouse.
There you go. So it's like a restaurant, and so they're running around. He's trying to get to her to kill her, and she's hiding and running around. And then yeah, at some point, like a lantern gets kicked over. Stuff gets lit on fire, and then the whole place is basically burning, and she uses that to her advantage to get the jump on him. I guess he does like pin her down at one point, but she's able to reach the cleaver and whack,
Yeah.
And then she gets out of the building, and I think that's when Joel finds her after that.
Yeah, right after she leaves.
And he can tell some shit went down because she's all like bloody and scared and freaking out, Not so good. So this one actually, back when I lived in Moscow, my roommate played this game quite a bit. And I remember one of the days that I was like chilling with him, I watched him play this like area. So like the fight with David and like the fire and the steakhouse and stuff. And so it was like true enough to what happened that I realized instantly. I was like, oh yeah, I know exactly where we are. So that was pretty cool.
I'm just, it's the other flashback in the beginning of episode 9.
Yeah, it's in the next one.
Okay, because I was, for some reason I thought it was in episode 8, but
flashbacks for days.
How come is there not a good
something?
Yeah, a good summary of this one, because it's all like summaries mixed with reviews. It's
oh yeah. Those punks. But I guess we start on the flashback of her origins.
Yeah.
Her story.
Just give me a freaking okay. Anyways, does it just start with you seeing her run through the woods?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so it just starts with like a lady running through the woods into this like abandoned house. She's pregnant, and she locks the door and she goes upstairs, and that's actually Ashley Johnson from Critical Role. And she voices Ellie in the game, so I'm assuming that's probably why.
Oh, nice.
But I actually thought that, because I was like, before I even registered in my brain that was Ashley Johnson, I was like, oh, they did a really good job of making this person look like a mom version of Ellie. And then I was like, wait, that's Ashley Johnson. Like I just had like a really like delayed like brain thing.
Yeah.
Where my brain was like not because she's the only one who's really like a real actress in addition to being a voice actor. Like she's been in a lot of shows. But like I haven't really watched anything that she's been in. So Scott's gonna yell at his cat. He's like, you bitch, get out of here. Oh, door shut. I don't really want to edit this empty space out, but you guys just know that I can hear Scott yelling at his cat, and he's probably telling Cheyenne to deal with that bitch, right?
What?
I was like talking because I don't want to have to edit that out, and then the last thing I said was, I can hear him yelling, and he's probably telling Cheyenne to deal with that bitch.
I was yelling at Velvet. I was like, "Don't make me put you in the room."
Yeah.
Lock you
But
up.
anyways, this is where it all kind of started to make sense to me because they make it pretty easy for it to. But basically, Anna, the mom,
Mhm.
is going into labor in an abandoned house after just being chased by something. And while she's like, birthing this child, you hear crashing and stuff like, and then all of a sudden, clicker or whatever the F, like, breaks through the door and tries to like attack her while she has like a baby coming out of her vagina.
Right.
Um, and she does have a knife and she kills it. You can't really see what happens until
No.
afterwards. And it doesn't really show you until a couple minutes later, but she holds the baby. The baby's alive. She cuts the cord, whatever.
Mhm.
Um, and then I don't remember if it's like really cutting back and forth, but then you see people with flashlights coming up to the house, and it's Marlene and some other guys. I
Mhm.
mean, they're looking for her and they find her, but Anna's been bit in the leg, and so she like swears up and down that she got bit before or after she cut the cord. But if you were paying attention during the thing, you can very clearly tell that she gets bit before she cuts the cord
Right.
because she had just birthed the baby when she
Mhm.
kills the thing. So obviously, if we know anything about science, we know that the umbilical cord feeds children.
Yep.
So she was fed whatever made her immune through the umbilical cord.
Had
Like
some
some of
serious
the
mom antibodies
venom
trying to,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. Um yeah, so but she doesn't but Anna doesn't I mean she could have fed her. I wonder if that would have made it worse cuz she doesn't feed her.
True.
I don't know how long it's been, but she wants Marlene to kill her and take the baby. And
Mhm.
Marlene and her are like friends. She like doesn't want to kill her. But then after she walks out of the room, she's like, "Please." So she hands the baby to this other guy and she's like, "Cover her ears." And then he doesn't cover her ears. And then she walks back in and she shoots her.
Yeah.
So that makes the whole thing even more intense because then we know how come Marlene was so adamant to not kill Ellie for being bitten.
Mhm.
She also probably had some sort of inkling that she had been exposed to it because she was there when she was born.
Right.
But she doesn't tell Ellie, I don't think at all, that she knew her mom.
No, I don't think so.
And but that's why, yeah, and then she gave her to Joel because she was like, if anyone can keep her alive across the country, it's probably him
Yep.
or whatever. But yeah, but then it cuts back to them continuing to Salt Lake.
Yeah, they're making tracks.
They're making their way downtown, walking fast, faces past, and they're homebound.
Exactly.
Anyways, so yeah, they're out of the snow. The weather's nicer. They're just traveling. Um, I'm assuming they're coming from like the northeast, so a little bit more tree-filled part of Utah because it gets uh not tree after Salt Lake.
It gets real flat and nothing.
Real flat and real red.
Yeah.
Um, but they come in and they're going in through like a building. They're trying to find the hospital. And Ellie jumps up to get a ladder and then just like lets it fall and starts running up the stairs. And it's because she saw a giraffe.
Yeah.
And there's kind of like a whole family of giraffes. And they're just chilling. She feeds it, which I thought was funny that after 20 years it could still be kind of domesticated, but I guess there's been people in and out.
Pretty chill.
They were looking at a football field and I was like, is that supposed to be BYU? Like in my head, I was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Except BYU, I guess, is a little bit south of Salt Lake City, so it probably wasn't. But um, yeah,
But that's a very, very famous video game scene too when they're finding the giraffe. So
makes sense.
yeah, big deal.
And then they have a moment where they open up a little bit, and he talks a little bit more about how his scars from him trying to kill himself,
Hmm.
and then she talks about about the first time she killed someone, and she explains that what was her name? Riley
Riley. Yep.
went first, so she shot her, and then nothing ever happened to her.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming she figured out how to find Marlene in that, or they came there. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then they get hit by a little bang bang,
A little bang bang.
like a grenade, like a shot grenade or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
A stun grenade is what I mean. But
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't played Call of Duty in like a few months. It's a little rusty.
It's true.
Yeah. And then they kind of wake up with the fireflies. Well, Joel wakes up with the fireflies.
Yeah, alone.
Pretty much shit hits the fan here because Marlene explains what's going on. She also explains how she's like breaking the one promise she made to Anna, which was to protect her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And it's like she basically comes out and tells Joel, "You like, look, leave, don't ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're tempted to, you're probably attached to her now." But she reveals that basically the only way they can do this surgery and develop a cure is to basically kill Ellie, like take it from deep within the brain,
out of her brain.
Mm-hmm.
Which you would think that there would be another way, but I guess they don't really have like as much technology anymore. So
they're just getting by. I mean, they barely have surgeons.
Yeah. So Joel's mad. Obviously, he pretends to be a good boy and leave with the guards because she's like, walk him to the highway, give him his bag, whatever.
Yeah, let him go.
But then in the stairwell, he does his Joel thing where he takes him out, and then he proceeds to take out everyone on his way to the operating room.
He's a goddamn bloodbath. I don't know how many people he killed in that episode.
He killed several people, including the doctor.
Oh yeah.
But he did spare the nurses.
True.
He made them all turn around, and then he took Ellie. And then he gets to the parking garage and he sees a car, but then Marlene is in the parking garage. And Marlene is trying to be very diplomatic.
Yep.
Like, she's like, trying, like, she goes to set her gun down. Like, she's not trying to, like,
she's trying to reason with him, basically, like, hey, this is the last chance. Look,
yeah, she's like, what would Ellie want? Right? And which was probably to help people. But I do feel like they should have like explained it to her, because I think he was also mad that they just took her to the operating room without telling her what was going to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's kind of a bitch ass move, Marlene.
It's a little bit shady.
But he shoots her.
He does.
And then he puts Ellie in the car, and then he can hear Marlene grumbling, and she tries to be like, don't kill me or whatever, but he kills her.
Yeah, the last couple episodes he's got real cold. Like raised. After the torture guys,
I couldn't save my daughter, but I can save this girl.
Yeah, and even like the last episode when he was like torturing them, and they're like, "Let me go, I gave you everything you wanted," and he's like, "Don't care." Boom.
Yeah.
So kind of the same thing with Marlene. Anything that could come back, he's like, "Nope, not gonna happen."
Yeah, and I think I wasn't really paying attention, but I'm pretty sure he's driving a Dodge Durango.
Yeah.
And he just starts driving back to Tommy.
Yep, going back to the civilization.
Going back to Wyoming. So it's mostly just him driving. At some point, she wakes up and she asks him what happened, and he basically says like, they did the thing, other people have it, they couldn't figure out how to make the cure. Yep. And then when she was like coming out of surgery or whatever, there was raiders, and they just barely got out. That's basically what he tells her.
Yep.
And then the car takes them for a while. And then it dies because,
And then they just got a little ways to walk at that time.
Yeah, it's like 5 hours or something, he says. And then they're on a mountain, like above the village place. I can't remember if it had a name. And they have a conversation, because she's like, I need you to like look me in the eye and tell me that what you said is what happened. And he does that. And I kind of feel like she wanted him to do that, but I also kind of feels like she knows that that's not what happened.
It definitely feels like she knows. She had like tears in her eyes, and she was just like, okay, like, kind of accepted it.
Yeah, but she had like a really weird mood even before they went into Salt Lake, like when they were on the highway still. She was kind of being weird. And I feel like maybe in her brain, she was like, I think I know I have to die for this or something. Like, I couldn't figure out if that's what it was, or if it was just because
a lot of what happened in the previous episode.
Yeah, because she also had like a
Traumatizing.
concussion, and she was thinking about Riley and
That
all that
crazy
stuff.
guy, that crazy preacher.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot on her mind, basically.
Mm-hmm. Um. Yeah. Well, he keeps like talking to her. He's all excited, like even before they get into Salt Lake, because he's like, "Oh, like, there was a guitar. It was all broken. Blah blah blah. I haven't played the guitar in a long time. I kind of want to get one. Do you want to learn? I can teach you." And she's just like, it's like all just like going past her.
Yeah.
He gets like boggle. He's like, "If you want to beat me at something, this is it."
Mm-hmm.
And then he was kind of doing that after too. And she was just being quiet, and he'd be like,
It's going
"Did
like
you hear
full
me?"
dad mode.
Yeah, he's like super excited dad mode.
Mm-hmm. But
Mm-hmm.
that's where the season ends.
Yeah, kind of ends with them on a mountaintop.
So what did you think of, I guess, the decision? Did
I think
you
that's
think,
the part where I don't know whether or not if that's what I'm annoyed at or something else.
when I remember when you got to that ending in the game, it was like, you're so attached to these characters because you
I should
followed
really
them.
play. Well, I guess I know
It's
what happens now. I did buy it. I played
but
it
it's
for like.
I am going to play it because it is very good. But that's the thing, Joel's this badass hero the whole time, and then we get to the end, and all of a sudden he makes this like crazy decision, basically like one girl for all of humanity. Is that the right choice?
Well, it's like a weird version of a hero's journey where he was like at the point where he was like a hero, but he was kind of like a killing machine hero, like a Dark Knight kind of.
Like an
Like he's
anti-hero
not the
almost.
hero they deserve, but or he's not the hero they want, but he's the hero they need or whatever shit
Right.
Batman says.
Yeah.
Like kind of like that. And like all these people keep dying, you know, whatever. He didn't
Yep.
see the purpose after his daughter died, which was right at the beginning. So he's probably just been in like that mode the whole time because I'm pretty sure there's no therapy during an apocalypse.
Probably not.
Um uh so like he has like a reverse role where he's become more like humanified at the end instead of the opposite where
Yeah,
he's like lost humanity.
because
So
he's
like I
like
guess in
gaining
some
his
ways,
feelings back, basically.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a good personal journey, but then I almost felt a little bit unsatisfied, maybe just at how it ended with like them just like on the hill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like there was just like something weird where I was just like, I don't feel fulfilled right now.
Yeah. Like there was a big, huge, giant decision made. And now what's next?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that is like obviously the big question that surrounds this game is, was Joel right to do what he did? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, you just, with his personal history, you could kind of see that he was going to make that choice.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do put all of, humanity and a cure on the line, it's kind of hard to say, is one person worth it?
Yeah. Cause I mean, at that point, like he walks in and they're like, do we have enough power? Like, you know what I mean? Like the doctor, like the nurse.
Yeah.
They don't even know if they have enough power or like
It's still
technology
kind of
to
a
still
chance.
do. Yeah. Like
Mm-hmm.
if it was like, power worked everywhere perfectly fine, maybe, but like, I don't know.
Yeah. In the conditions they were in, who knew if they would even be successful? Maybe she just
Yeah.
dies for nothing. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. It's a tough decision.
Yep.
But yeah, I
And
guess we'll
I
have
think
to.
he went fully into that mode because he was like, this is a person I can protect, and I wasn't able to protect my daughter.
Yeah, I need to do absolutely everything in my power to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And if I can do it,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, everything else, screw it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
good stuff though. Good series, fun times.
Heck yeah.
I don't know when season 2 will be, but that'll be exciting.
Probably like for freaking ever because or no, it's HBO, so maybe not. No,
They still take a
Netflix
while.
takes forever. Like I think I just saw that the Stranger isn't there only supposed to be one episode of Stranger Things and the last episode just got delayed or something?
There's only one episode left.
No, sorry, I mean
Oh,
the
season.
fifth season. Yeah, it's
Oh
the
god.
final season. Oh, it's because of the writer's strike. That makes sense.
Those dang
Yeah,
writers.
because all these people I follow are part of the Writers Guild.
Oh,
So I keep seeing them post about the strike and stuff.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. It seems like there's at least a year or two between every, because I don't know when the next House of the Dragon is supposed to come out, but I know like after the last one finished, I was like, oh wow, that's gonna be a while.
Yeah. It's weird. I kind of miss just like watching shows normally.
What do you mean?
Just like Thursday night, gonna watch Law and Order SVU, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you
Or
still could
CSI
do
or
that.
whatever.
You could
I
just
guess
watch
CSI.
one episode on one day.
Yeah, but it's just so hard when you have the power.
You have the power.
Yeah. Well, HBO does. I do like that. I guess it was coming out like that. I just didn't watch it like that.
That's true. Yeah, it would come
Because
out
like
once a week.
the I did watch all of House of Dragon. I don't know if I watched it. I might have like done a few episodes and then done the last few.
Mhm.
But HBO also has this like comedy show that's like 30 minutes called The Sex Lives of College Girls, and it has the dungeon master from D20, Brendan Lee Mulligan. His wife is like in it. She's not a main character, but I thought it was really funny because it like over exaggerates like hookup culture in college.
Oh yeah.
And I watched those every week. Like I was like, ooh, new episode, gonna watch it, you know? And I was like, this is kind of fun. I haven't done this in like 15 years.
Yeah. You know, make a little special occasion out of it instead of taking the power out. I like your little Wind Waker link you sent in your link, by the way.
Thanks. It's because my title said bitch or link bitch.
Yep.
And so I've
Put a little link
so
in
I was like,
there.
I'm gonna put a link who looks a little bit like a feisty bitch in there.
The new Zelda tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I'm still stuck on that stupid fucking Marvel bitch ass thing.
Did you see
And I
that
keep
TikTok Shine sent you?
yeah, and I keep and I was like, I relate to this, but like I keep getting it out the exit and I cannot figure and I can't flip it upside down. I have to flip the whole switch upside down. And then I'm trying to like look at it and move like this. And I do worse when I do that.
It's
like
gotta
I
be
can't
worse
even
on a
like
Switch
flip
Lite.
the whole thing over
Right.
to have it be perfectly flat. Like I
Mhm.
just can't do it. And it's making me mad because I want to finish that before I go back and do what I was doing. But I've tried like 20 times and I can't do it.
I mean, honestly, on some of those, what I ended up doing, I was just like start flinging it around, and then eventually you get a hit, and it'll just land in there.
So stupid.
They are dumb. That was like, and it's got to be way worse on the Switch Lite. At least the little controller,
Yeah.
I had it in my hand.
Well, everyone kept saying like flip the controllers upside down, and then I was like this, and I was like, I don't think they played this on a light because
Probably not.
It doesn't work.
No, that is funny.
Yeah, and you guys were saying all that stuff, and I was like, I don't even know what words they're saying right now. Like,
Man, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah, it was stupid.
Is that one of the first shrines on the plateau? Like in the first area, or did you get the glider already and you're already out?
No, I already have the glider. I've been
Okay.
to like several.
So you don't
shrines.
have to do that thing.
I know. I'm just I'm on a mission to. I was just in this one city
Kakariko.
with what wasn't the first city I've been to. I don't think it was that one. It was in this one with this like little lady person who like
Oh,
told me to
Tenno
do
Village. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I went somewhere else to do something, and I
Yeah.
can't remember because I've been so stuck on trying to do this fucking maze.
Well, that's decent progress besides the maze.
Yeah, I played quite a bit during spring break. I don't know. I played a little bit of Pokemon before I bought it. I accidentally bought a freaking DLC too, so that was annoying. It was like $70 total. I don't even know how I did that.
For Pokemon?
No, for Zelda. I went back to what I was talking about before because when I was looking at games, it like took me for some reason to like the DLC page first instead of the game page, and I was not paying attention. And then it started downloading, and I was like, "Wait, that says DLC."
Shit. Yeah. I like platinumed both God of Wars, so that's like a little. I told the people on Discord, but that's a little humble brag on my thing. So
nice.
I had to go back to the 2018 version because I never did it. Do the most annoying parts and then beat the Valkyrie Queen, but I did it.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, not nice, but whatever.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was saying.
Nice. Smooth.
Do you have any well, you got your, I know we kind of skipped over some things here. So you got the Doritos.
I did. Amazingly.
Yeah, there's like 38,000 pairs of those.
And they sell for like 400, 500.
Yeah, like almost as much as the Travis Scott's.
Yeah, hard to believe.
Yeah, I thought those would go for more because it seems like the reverse mocha colorway is really popular. So I was like, oh, maybe people will like these. But I don't really think there's much I'm going for because I keep buying shit. But I do really like these Air Maxes that they just added today. That
I knew you were going to. I knew it.
You're rude.
As soon as I saw those pop up, I was like, oh, Kendra's going to want this.
Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, what else? I might still go for the Thunders. I don't know.
Yeah. There's a bunch of like New Balance shoes I want, and I can't figure out why some of them are so expensive. Like $210 for like a little New Balance shoe.
Mm-hmm.
But they're so comfortable.
Yeah.
And I might order those Air Trainers because it's like $55.
Yeah.
And I never found something to use my $10 credit on.
Oh yeah. The only success from Black Friday.
Yeah. Man, I spent so much time on my phone. That was so stupid.
Me too.
Like my screen time was ridiculous that week.
I suppose since I had such success the year before, I thought it would be simple, but it wasn't.
Simple and yeah. Yeah, well, when I went to the Nike store, so on Saturday, I went and got my race bib and whatnot. And then Allie and I like walked around and we went to this coffee shop called Atticus. And then right down the couple doors, a cool shop called Boo Radley's.
Boo, haven't I heard of that before?
Maybe. And that was where I sent the picture of the sexy bird mask people because I thought that you guys would comment about my bird mask and then like me sending a picture of a sexy bird mask lady. But no one said that, and I was like, damn, these guys missed an opportunity.
Dang it.
And then so then we went to the Nike store, and there's actually more things in my size. I feel like in men's shoes since it's an 8 than the women's shoes. They actually had like a decent selection, but none of it was like super cool stuff. There was a pair of blazers I was thinking about getting, but they weren't super on sale. And then there was the Metcons. And then I was like, well, I guess I'll just think about it. And if tomorrow after I run, I can just walk here before I get picked up if I want to get them. Because my dad just like left $100 on my truck seat when I dropped my dog off.
Nice.
Yeah. So then I ran, and then I was waiting for Bonnie because I was actually faster than her for once by like a half hour.
Wow.
So I went to the Nike store and I was like, well, I don't need CrossFit shoes right now because I haven't been going because of softball. But like CrossFit shoes are expensive and these are $80 instead of $130. So I'm going to buy them.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Are you done with softball then?
Yeah. We had our last game on Friday for JV, and then C team had a game on Monday, and I was really over it. I didn't want to go. I didn't feel good because I ran 7.4 miles a day before. And I'm telling you, the last time I ran it, I didn't have allergies. They don't call it Bloomsday for no reason, you know? Like,
true.
It was not great. And I was so mad because I was tracking it on my watch, you know, and my nutrition coach was like, you should do 8 minutes of running, 2 minutes of walking the whole time since we only got to like 4 miles before I did it, you know? And I was like, cool, I'll program my watch to just repeat that until I shut it off instead of distance because I can't think that far for 7.46 miles, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was doing like a really good job of like following my watch. Like if I was supposed to be running during a walking where there was a water station and I walked, they just like added that time on and just walked for like a minute and a half or whatever instead of 2 minutes, you know? Because you can't plan when a water station is. And I was like, when I had like downhill the whole time, I was trying to like go at a faster pace or whatever because I really wanted to beat my fastest time. And then right after mile 6, I went to look at my watch and my watch face was open instead of my app. And I was like, oh, that's weird. So I clicked back in because sometimes it comes out. I accidentally clicked on a different app first, and I don't think this would have done this. But I opened my Runkeeper app, not tracking it anymore. So I like lost my total time, so I could no longer see like, because like I knew what my previous time was, and I didn't know how far into my interval I was, so I had to just like guess, and that like really screwed me up. Like my pace, because like Bloomsday tracks your pace. My pace in the last mile was like 2 minutes slower because I kept stopping. I think I just like got in my head too much when I could no longer, like I was like almost relying on my watch too much. So then when it wasn't true, but it didn't even auto save. So I don't have like any of the data from the first 6 miles. And I was so mad. I was like, this is so stupid. Like, whatever. And I was only too slow by 51 seconds. So if I wouldn't have stopped so much in the last mile, I probably, well, really the last half mile, I was really feeling it by then. But also, I kept hitting all my walking intervals like right before an uphill. And I was like, this is so stupid. Like, this could not have like been timed any worse. Because there's this one called Doomsday Hill, and it's like at least a half mile or like 3/4 of a mile. It's like really long, maybe like a half. But I hit my walking interval right at the base of it. And part of me was like, should I just run extra and then walk? But then I was like, is that going to make me more tired? So then I walked and I was like, okay, I'm going to walk a little bit longer than 2 minutes and I'll start running at this like bend. So even with that, I still almost beat my time. Nice. But that like hitting my walking interval at that particular bottom of the hill really messed me up. And then my watch crashing, which happened shortly after that. So
nice.
Yeah, so I was really annoyed about that.
Dang technology.
But anyways, we jumped around a lot here at the end. That's fine.
A little bit, catch up.
Yeah, so I guess that's it for this one. I think the new D&D movie is rentable, so maybe we'll do that for the next episode.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess you can like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a rating and a review. Positive ones, please. Download our episodes. Follow us on our socials at 5 MMPOD. Send us an email to 5FIBE more minutes pod at gmail.com. And share us with your friends and family. Your friends who are your family, and your family who's more like friends than family.
Yeah. Until then, we're walking out.
Bye.
True.